11 of the Nicole Stitches podcast. I'm Nicole, a left-handed crocheter, knitter, and general crafter, coming to you from Northern Virginia, where I work and live with my fiance and our cat, Webster. You can keep up with me on Instagram at Nicole SP Designs, on Ravelry as she writes things, on Pinterest at NSP Designs, and in my Etsy shop, NSP Designs, where I make and sell handmade project bags and other fiber accessories, as well as crochet patterns. We also now have a Ravelry group for the podcast, so I will link that in the description as well, or you can hop on Ravelry and search for the Nicole Stitches podcast group. I post show notes for every episode there, and there's also a get to know me / get to know us, the larger podcast community thread. Webster. So anyway, stop by the group, pop in, say hello, give us a little introduction, and that is where I plan to be hosting some future CALs, giveaways, Q&A threads, etc. If you are a new viewer, thank you for stopping by, and I hope you enjoy. If you are a return viewer, thank you for coming back. I appreciate your patience once again. I took a break last week. I had gone 2 weeks previously, and I knew that I was going to miss a week, and I talked about it in my previous video, and I just forgot to say anything. This past break was much less planned. I knew that I would again be out of town, but I had planned to still record and post an episode, and it just kind of didn't work out. I'll talk about that more at the end of the video, but I'm sorry again for the 2-week break. I really do intend for this to be a weekly video podcast, but sometimes life just, you know, it does things. But here we are again. Sorry for my absence. And thank you for sticking around, for waiting patiently if you've been waiting. I'm really hoping that I can get back onto a regular weekly schedule now. So, that being said, I'm just going to jump right into it, and I have a finished object to share on the podcast. So, I still have to weave in ends, because obviously, and I do have a couple of armpit holes that I need to fix. I don't quite know what happened here, but I need to fix that. But I have finished my spotlight sweater. This is a pattern by TinCanKnits. It is available in everything from teeny tiny toddler sizes all the way up through a very wide range of adult sizes. This is mine. I used KnitPicks Swish worsted. In the gray color is Marble Heather, the pink is Conch, this is Electric Blue, and this is Honey. And I'm very pleased. I was nervous. This was my first bottom-up sweater, so I was very nervous about fit, because you can't really try it on to check sizing until it's done, or until it's so far in that to rip out and start over would be like a nightmare. But it fits very well. It did grow a little bit during blocking, so the sleeves are a little bit long and the body's a little bit long, but I'm okay with that. I like a little bit of length to my sweaters, and it's really comfy cozy. It's not too hot in the yoke section where you have you know, the colorwork floats going on, and I'm really happy with it. I finished it probably Monday or Tuesday night. I think Monday night I finished it. No, Sunday night. Sunday night I finished it, and it's been blocking. And I'm really excited that it's done. So that is my second sweater off the needles, my first bottom-up sweater. I really don't think that I prefer bottom-up sweaters, but I know many, many beautiful patterns, some of which are very popular right now, are bottom-up. So it's probably not my last one, but I think that top-down really is my preferred pattern method for sweaters. This was also my first time working the Kitchener stitch. You are supposed to work it for the underarms. I knew what Kitchener stitch was, but I had never had to do it before. I had never done it, and I don't think I did it perfectly, but I did it. And I have small holes that I need to fix, but it looks pretty good, if I do say so myself. And I'm very pleased with it. This is going to go in my my suitcase for our upcoming cruise to Alaska at the beginning of September. So, yay! Finally finished. That's 2 sweaters this year. For someone who had never knit a sweater for herself before, I've got 2 under my belt now, and I think that's pretty cool. So now that I am done with my finished objects for this episode, I'm going to show you my works in progress. I will show you this one first. It is one I have shown before. I've been steadily working on it for a couple of weeks now, maybe like a month. It is living in my pizza and junk food project bag, and it is the Camp Wilkerson wrap by Boyland Knitworks, who is very trendy right now. For once I'm not in the middle of a row. But here's my progress. So I finally entered the section that it's basically the middle of the wrap, and it's just going to be a huge middle section of eyelets. So that's been nice. I'm really excited with how the red color is knitting up. This is Pendleton red from MadTosh. My other colors are Tern by MadTosh. This is number 110 from Blue Sky Fibers in the Silk Alpaca Fingering Weight blend. And then this is KnitPicks Hawthorne Fingering Kettle-Dyed in Compass. And I really like these colors together. I think they're really pretty, and I'm really liking it. And it's looking pretty good, I think. I got nervous because I followed the pattern, but then I saw a picture of the Camp Wilkerson wrap, and I noticed that one end had 4 white stripes, and I had only done 3 here, and I panicked. And I was like, oh my god, did I skip a stripe? Do I need to like rip out all of the red and go back and start over? But no, I'm fine. It turns out that the pattern has 3 white stripes on one end and 4 on the other. So I'm okay, but that was a momentary panic with this. But yeah, I'm really enjoying working on it. It's nice. It's obviously a smaller scale project than my sweaters have been. It's good for when I really want to be mindlessly knitting along, watching TV, or if I'm tired, or car knitting, stuff like that. So yeah, I'm very pleased with my progress. It's definitely going to be a lot of red knitting for quite a while, but that's okay with me because that's my favorite color. Next up is my Goldfish memory wrap. This is a pattern by Casapinka, and I think last episode I had this project ready to go but had not started it yet. So this is another bag from my shop. Here are my pins. Let me straighten them out. I have since added one, I believe. There they are. I love them all. This is a very new one from my favorite podcast. I'll take out the pattern once more. And I have made some very good progress on this since my last episode. So I have some yarn tangles going on because I have 2 colors live at the same time. But here is my progress. So the way that the Goldfish, it's a slanted wrap. So it's supposed to be at an angle like this. I checked. But the kind of concept or inspiration behind the Goldfish memory was the urban legend that a goldfish only remembers something for 3 or 4 seconds and then they forget. And so the pattern consists of very short sections of different knit work. So down here there is some yarn over garter action, some more garter stripes. There's this cool business. I actually really like this. And now I am here. So I finally got to incorporate my 3rd color. It's a 3-color wrap. I'm using all Hedgehog Fibers colors. This orange is Rusty Nail. It's like a tonal or a solid. This gray is Method, and then this white flecked color is Urchin. I am really enjoying this. I neglected my Camp Wilkerson a little bit to work on this because I like it so much. It's a great middle ground between mindless repetitive, I can tune it out and just knit, and having to pay attention, which is great because it never gets boring. So I really like it. I'm very excited. I do realize, however, that I only have a month until I go on vacation, and I did want to have at least one of these finished for that, and I think I would rather have the Camp Wilkerson done by then. So I kind of need to focus on my Camp Wilkerson and try and finish it, and then focus on this. I think that's what I need to do, because I want at least one of them to have to take on the trip with me. Maybe I'll be able to finish both. We'll see. My next work in progress is my embroidery. I started this a few weeks ago. I didn't have any progress to show last time, I don't think. I don't remember, but I do have progress to show you this time. I know that for sure. It definitely looks different from the last time I showed it. So for those of you who have not tuned in to the last time I talked about this, I recently finished a small cross-stitch project for my best friend as a birthday gift, and it kind of reawakened my needlepoint bug, but I didn't want to commit to a big project because I have other projects going on in yarny endeavors, and I have a big cross-stitch project that I'm just kind of ignoring, so I didn't want to commit to anything huge. But I found a really fun idea for bridesmaids gifts. I am getting married next year, and I found a really fun idea for gifts for my bridesmaids that I thought would be very pretty and sweet to do, and so I decided to make them myself. I am going to be making them all embroidered, personalized little cosmetic pouches to hold, you know, their bits and bobs on my wedding day. So before I actually make their pouches, their official gifts, I decided to do a little bit more embroidery practice because it's been a while since I did embroidery as opposed to cross stitch, and I wanted to make sure that when I make these gifts for my bridesmaids that they look really good. So I bought some pre-cut canvas yardage from Michael's. It's a really great deal. You can use a coupon and get it for super cheap, and it's a very nice weight of canvas. It's durable, but it's not really like thick and hard to work through, and it feels nice and soft. And I sketched a little freehand, and I've just been kind of stitching away on it in moments here and there. So here is my progress. I think last time I might have only had this much done, maybe, but I've filled in, I finished this side, I filled in these leaves and done some flowers. Hopefully that's not too close. So I'm pretty much done with this floral section. I have to figure out what to do with these flowers here. They're like kind of at the back of this little bunch. I want to fill in a few more French knots down here and just kind of fill in the florals a little bit, and then I want to find something to write here. I don't know what. This is just kind of a practice pouch I'm making for myself, probably. So it could be anything. It could be my name. It might be a big old curse word. I don't know. I'll decide later on, but I'm really enjoying getting to work on this. Here and there, when my hands and wrists start to get a little achy or tingly from doing too much knitting or crochet, this is a really good craft for me to switch over to. So that is my progress, and I'm really enjoying it. And I'm keeping that in my Pinup Girl project bag. This fabric is not stocked in my shop right now, but it is coming back very soon. I just have to, oh, I zipped my thread up in the zipper. That's not good. Oh boy, broken forever. Okay, I'll fix it later. Perfect. Okay, that is all of my works in progress and finished objects. I don't have any new starts. I am trying really hard to be good and finish the projects that I have going on before I start anything new. Having 3 projects on knitting needles and also one to crochet, which I have been sorely neglecting for weeks now, and wanting to embroider was just, I was finding it to be a little bit overwhelming. So I'm trying to be very good and kind of finish at least one more project before I start anything new. But I have been very, very tempted to try and knit a tee, potentially for the cruise. There's a lot of knit tee patterns coming out that are really cute. There's, of course, the Tenya by Boyland Knitworks, which we all know and love. I tried to start one earlier. I think in my very first episode I showed my very pathetic progress on a Tenya, which I have since frogged because I was getting frustrated with my yarn choice. And I do want to make one though, just I needed a little time. But there's the Tenya, and then Boyland Knitworks has since come out with the Sapila, which is beautiful. That comes in a long sleeve and a short sleeve version. And then she just released a tee called the Maritimo. And then Wool Jewel released a tee pattern recently called the Louis, which is inspired by the French King Louis, the Sun King, and it has a very cool, like, sun-inspired yoke. So I'm being I'm being tested, but so far I'm successful in resisting. And then Stephen West just released I think he called it the Go-To Raglan sweater. That's a long sleeve sweater, but it's still real cute. He released that today, and I'm just trying really, really hard to fight the urge. We'll see if I'm successful. Maybe I'll finish something and feel like I can give myself permission, but I'm trying. But that's everything in terms of fiber content. I feel like it's a little on the short side this week, probably because I finished my sweater, but that's okay. And I will now move on to life updates, I guess. So the first life update would be related to why I didn't post a video last week. Basically, I went up to Baltimore to dog sit for my mom. She was headed out of town, and the family dog, Libby, she's our little rescue baby, and she needed to have some company. She does not do well being boarded, and she also now has a medical condition that requires her to be medicated every at very precise hourly intervals. Not hourly, but very precise, like 12-hour windows. And it helps for her to have someone there to keep an eye on her as well. So it was just going to be best for her to stay home and have someone watch her. So because I work remotely already, I told my mom that I would just come up and spend the week there with my dog. And it ended up being kind of a stressful week. Some stuff happened, some wedding related stuff happened that was very stressful, related to like family stuff. And there was, unfortunately, Libby had a medical episode, and if you've ever seen your pet to be in a medical situation where you can't help them at all, because there's nothing that you can do, and you can't even touch them, or anything, you can kind of just, all you can do is watch and wait and kind of talk to them and let them know you're there. It's very distressing. It was very upsetting. And neither she nor I could sleep anymore. It kind of happened in the wee hours of the morning after it happened, and so we were both she was very restless, which is a normal symptom after a seizure, and I was very just upset and kind of traumatized. I really struggle with pet illness, and like when my pets pass away, it's really tough for me. When they're sick, it's really hard. So I ended up having some tough days, and of course that made me nervous for the rest of the time that I was there, that something else might happen to her, and it just was a whole thing. And so I did record an episode while I was there, but I think in the video you can tell that I was really low on energy because I was not sleeping very well, and I was just kind of, I was just a mess. So I did record, I started to edit, and then I started having some editing issues, and I thought, you know what, I'm just gonna skip this week. This video is not up to my normal standard that I like to post, and I'm having editing problems, so I'm just gonna let myself have a pass on this one, and I'll record later. So I'm very sorry I missed last week, but that's basically a summary of what was going on. My mom is back home in her home now with Libby. I am obviously home in my apartment now, and everything so far has been fine. Libby is being her normal Libby self, so just, you know, keeping fingers crossed that she stays healthy and everything's okay with her, and that if she has more in the future, they are no worse than what she's had to go through already. Beyond that, not much else has gone on. It is August already, somehow. That's kind of crazy. I feel like because I spent so much time in July being not home, that's probably part of why the month went by so quickly for me, but it is August. This weekend we will, of course, be traveling up to Baltimore. I feel like I'm always traveling up to Baltimore to visit my fiance's mother. It is her birthday, and so we are going to go out to lunch and get some crabs, as is the great Baltimore pastime, which I still don't understand as someone who was born and raised in upstate New York. I don't totally understand the whole crab thing, but I enjoy it for the social aspects. Even if I feel kind of a little bit heathenous, you know, like breaking crab shells and having to pick the meat out of I just don't. Going for the social aspects, and I'm pretty excited about it. There was one thing that I did want to mention. I want to start a monthly giveaway for the podcast. And what I want to do is basically show support for pattern designers without me hoarding patterns in my library all the time. I don't remember who talked about this in a podcast episode. I think it was either the Grocery Girls or Legacy Fiber Arts. They basically mentioned that when a pattern designer comes out with something new, even if you don't plan to make it right away, if you are able, you have the means, you should buy the pattern because it supports them and it lets them keep designing patterns for you to enjoy later on. And I really agree with that. I do try to purchase patterns from makers and designers whom I enjoy when they come out with them, even if I don't plan to make the pattern right away. So I thought that it would be a nice way to support designers without stalking my library too much further, to make it about also giving back to the people tuning into my podcast, because I already have more knitting patterns in my library than I probably will ever be able to knit. And I really like being able to continue supporting these makers that I love. As much as I would love to, I cannot afford to always support the yarn dyers whom I love, but a pattern on Ravelry generally averages, I would say, between $3 and $7, and that is something that for me, I already let myself indulge in, you know, maybe once a week, once every couple weeks, maybe more than that. depending, but so for me it's something that I'm already doing for myself, and I would rather find a way to share that. So what I would like to do is every month give away to a viewer of the podcast a copy of a pattern from a project that I have worked on in that month. So for the first giveaway, which I will hold at the end of August, I would like to give away the winner's choice of any pattern that I've worked on for the entire life of the podcast. So that would be the Asana wrap by Amba O'Brien, the Tecumseh, the Spotlight sweater, the Goldfish memory, any of the ones that I have worked on up until this point. I'll go back and make sure that I make a list of all the options, and that can include any of my cross-stitch patterns that I've done, not my cross-stitch patterns, but any cross-stitch pattern that I've done if that interests you. The one I made Rachel for her birthday, I featured it in a previous episode, or, you know, a pattern that I have designed that I release. Whatever comes up within the month, I would like to give away. So I want to keep requirements pretty reasonable, as this is a monthly thing, but I do want to make sure that it's someone who is actively involved in the podcast. So I would like it to be someone who is 18 or older, just to, you know, the legal aspects of it, who has a Ravelry account. That is just the most straightforward way to send you a copy of the pattern, and someone who is subscribed to the podcast, and preferably someone who's like kind of more interactive, been, you know, watching and participating in for a while, not just someone who shows up to win a giveaway and then, you know, that's all that they're here for, because that kind of is a little bit unfair to other people who are in this little community who have been sticking around for a while and been so supportive, and you're the ones I want to benefit from this idea. So I will check, I will randomly draw a winner using a random number generator from comments on a video. Not this video, the first giveaway will be at the end of this month of August, and I will announce it at that time again to remind you, but I will use a random number generator to pull a name from comments. I will verify that this person has a Ravelry and is subscribed and everything, and I will send you your choice of pattern through Ravelry. So I hope this is something that you like. Let me know in the comments if it is, if you have any questions or other suggestions to go along with it, but I think it's going to be a really fun idea. I love the idea that I can still support designers that I like and share the patterns that I'm working on with other people, and also give back to the people who are supporting me by tuning in and keeping in touch with me. So yeah, I just wanted to announce that. I will, again, I will remind you that this is happening later in the month in the video where I ask for entry comments, but I just wanted to share that. So that's going to be a new thing, and I'm pretty excited about it. I think that is everything for this video. Last time I missed 2 weeks. I had quite a lot to talk about, and I feel like this time I'm getting it wrapped up pretty quickly, but you know, that's not a bad thing. Thank you once again if you were a new viewer. Thank you for spending time with me. If you're a return viewer, thank you for coming back. If you liked what you saw here, please give the video a like. It helps other people to find me and find us. And if you want to keep up, please subscribe. Once again, it helps us grow. Check out the Ravelry group to participate more and find show notes. And comment below, let me know what you've been working on lately. Any suggestions you have for knit tee patterns to make it even harder for me to resist. And I hope you have a great week. I will see you next time. Bye!